Since the apocalypse began 2 weeks ago, I had weathered many things, from abandoning my home and surviving alone in the woods, to finding safety in a community, and then watching a horde tear it apart. And here I am with Yazzie and his people, who offered us their aid. Everywhere I've gone, people have tried to help. I've seen the best in people, but today changed everything. Today I saw the worst in people. I couldn't hear what the federal police asked Yazzie. The wind carried everything else, a dry rattle of weeds against truck tires, but not their voices. Still I knew the rules. Answer yes or no, nod or shake. Answer the questions. Obey. Yazzie stood there with his hands folded in front of him. His denim jacket hung loose on his shoulders. He looked small. They stopped asking him questions, and silence dropped. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that shows its teeth. The man in black armor raised his rifle and shot Yazzie in the head. The sound cracked across the desert like a thunderclap. Yazzie fell backward, his boots kicking dust, his body folding the wrong way. Blood sprayed and began to pool beneath him. And nobody screamed, but everybody froze. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. The agents glanced at his body and then at us. "Empty your pockets," one of them said. I fumbled at my jeans, my fingers shook. I pulled out a Ziploc bag of dried matches and a small compass, threw them on the ground in front of me. Others were doing the same. "He's got a gun," one of the police alerted. I looked up. Nick lay face down in the dirt with 3 agents on top of him. One twisted his arm. 2 others planted a knee between each shoulder. "You can have the gun," Nick shouted. Spit flew from his mouth. "Please don't shoot me." His voice cracked on the last word, but they didn't answer. They raised their guns and shot him 10 times. The noise punched the air out of my lungs. Nick jerked once, then he lay still. His mouth hung open like he was about to say something and never got the chance. One agent rolled him over and checked his pistol. He popped the magazine out. It was empty. No bullets, not even one. He tossed it aside like trash. No apology, no hesitation. They started walking again toward us. 4 of Yazzie's men rushed the agents. The oldest was barely 18 by my best guess. They screamed their challenges, swung their fists, and tried to get their rifles. But it didn't matter. The agents shot them down like coyotes on a fence line. The guns fired so fast I couldn't count the bullets. 4 bodies hit the dirt. The older women wept quietly, soft broken sounds. The men stayed on their knees, staring, faces gray and hollow. Those were their sons, their children, their hope for the future, their insurance against a hard world. The agents didn't laugh or curse or even speak. They just kept walking toward me, toward us, guns raised. I wanted to make my final stand, to go down swinging, but my legs refused. I heard people begging, promises, prayers, deals offered to anybody. But it didn't matter. No one was coming to save us. Then Angie screamed, "They're coming! The Horde!" Her voice cut through everything while she pointed to the distance. Every head turned. Over the hill came a moving wall of bodies, 100, maybe more, limbs tangled, jaws hanging loose, clothes flapping like rags on scarecrows. They rolled downhill in a slow, hungry tide. "Take me with you," Angie yelled. "I'll do anything." Her voice was thin and desperate. The leader thought for a second, then grabbed her arm and dragged her to the truck. The other agents in black followed. Car doors slammed, the engines roared, and then they left, as if they were never even here. Dust swallowed the trucks, just like that. People began to snap out of their trauma, driven by a new fear of the approaching undead. They broke and ran. The old mothers rushed to their dead, a life's work laying on the ground, but their husbands pulled them away, dragging them by the wrists and elbows. Some were screaming, crying, grief tangled with survival until you couldn't tell them apart. They wouldn't be able to outrun what was coming, though. My matches lay in the dirt next to my compass. I picked them up. I first thought of Dale and his sacrifice, then of Nick and the harshness of life. I thought how unfair the world had become, or perhaps it had always been this way. Nick's gun lay near his face. His eyes stared at nothing. I grabbed it, checked the chamber. 1 bullet, just one. I laughed, and I thought, this is not how I'm going to end. I looked at the people running for their lives. Some had run faster than the others. The old people had no chance. It wasn't fair. So many had helped me when I needed it, and they all paid the price for their kindness. So I decided to run toward the zombies. This is my kindness. If there is a God, make me faster. Make them come for me. At 50 feet from the wave of undead, I turned and sprinted sideways, screaming, waving the gun. My voice cracked, my lungs and legs burned full of adrenaline. The horde followed. They tripped and fell over each other, bodies piling up. I barely slipped past the edge. Barely. A hand grabbed my arm, and I had to violently pull myself free, not losing my pace. I ran across open ground, toward the hills or trees, toward anything that could be my hope. In the distance, I saw a ridge and thought about Dale. I watched him run once, while the horde followed. High ground, he'd said. Getting to high ground might save him. Perhaps it might save me too. I wanted to look behind, but I knew if I could see what was after me, it might cause me to lose all hope. Ahead I saw cattle wire fencing stretching for some distance, and prepared myself to hurdle over. But as I got closer, I could see it was too high for me, so I made a sharp turn, running beside the fence. Behind me, I heard the sound of infected, going too fast, not being able to stop, hitting the fence. Metal rang, wire screamed, bodies slammed. Though I couldn't afford to look back, I knew a dozen or more zombies were getting caught in the fence. My lead was growing. The infected had the disadvantage of being so many, too many, and were knocking each other over to get me, causing pileups. I passed a break in the fence line and had an idea. It was too late to go back, but then the next break, I did a sharp turn in the opening, going for the other side of the fence. I slowed down, backpedaled, turning to watch the zombies hitting the fence like an ocean wave hitting a breaker. The fence was a frenzy of the dead, and I relaxed, thinking, like an idiot, that I could catch my breath. But the fence gave. Zombies flailed everywhere, while others scrambled over those caught in the wires. I began my run anew, but felt hope. Real hope. I spotted a large gully ahead. A heavy rainstorm had cut a large and deep swath into the land. I looked back. A few zombies were close, but the rest had fallen behind quite a bit. Do I risk this? Going down into the gully and having the zombies follow me? Maybe I could get them trapped. Well, that could be the easy part, but will I be able to get back out? Will I get trapped down there with them? That will be death. When I got close, I chose to run around the lip, looking down to see if there might be an easy way for me to get out. Do they climb? I wondered. Perhaps this wouldn't work. I took a corner a bit too close, fell, and almost tumbled down into the gully. Loose sand poured over me like water, but I got up fast and faced the runners who were close and almost right on top of me. I stepped aside and kicked two of them into the gully, and then grabbed the third and threw him like a sandbag into the ravine. I was so jacked up. My heart hammered. My hands shook. I felt like I could throw a zombie a mile in the air. I looked back and forth to the three infected in the gully and the closing horde behind and started running around the edge. I came to the spot where I was sure I could jump across, successfully landing on the other side. Ready to run again, I turned and watched the remaining horde pour into the ravine like frightened lemmings, not able to get back out again. One small step at a time, I worked my way up the edge to look down into the gully. Some infected were trying to get back up while others ran to and fro, looking for another way out. Fearful of this, I yelled at them and their heads snapped back up to me. They came running to the spot below me, all of them clawing at the sides, trying to invade to get up to me. If Webster had an image next to the word idiot, it would be my face. Their digging below caused a chain reaction and the ground beneath me broke away. The only thing that saved me from being torn apart was all the sand beneath my feet buried the infected as I came sliding down. I squirmed out from the sand, crawling and pulling my way back up as bony fingers grabbed at my shoes. For as much distance as I was able to climb back up the side, about as much sand went back down. I got near the top but had trouble clearing the lip. A large stone struck out and I was able to get a hold, but I still couldn't make it over. The noise of the dead below me was deafening. They moaned and snapped and clawed, a pit full of hunger. As I held, I calmed myself, made sure my grip was good. I was tired from the effort, and for the first time, I was worried if my strength would hold out. "Take a breath," I said. "This is going to be the big pull-up. You can do this." Just then, a pair of hands from above grabbed my wrist and pulled me up with a huff. I went sprawling to the ground. I panicked there for a moment, rolling over to face my adversary, kicking at the air, too tired to move, too scared to breathe. My whole body shook, not just from the cold, but from everything. "Peace be with you, friend," the man said to me. I looked up. He was older, with white hair and a beard, sunburned skin and glasses. Sweat darkened his shirt. "Noah's my name," he said. "We better get going before they find a way up." I tried to speak, but nothing came out. My mouth felt packed with dust and fear. He offered a hand, and I thought for a moment my head finally starting to clear, then took hold as he helped me up. He hurried away, beckoning me to follow, while also looking around for danger. I stumbled after him, legs rubbery, lungs rattling. Every shadow looked like the dead. Every sound was like teeth snapping in the air. About 100 feet up a ridge, a woman stood outside an orange RV. The paint had faded to the color of rusted pumpkins. One window was cracked and taped shut. "Good to see you made it," she said. Her voice was calm. "This is my friend Jen," Noah said. "And your name is?" "Steve," I said. My voice sounded small. "And I think I owe you one." Jen studied me for a moment, then took my arm. "You're injured," she said. "If we don't get that looked after, you'll get an infection." "We better get going, hun," she said to Noah. "It's going to be dark soon, and we want to get to the Duke's before he locks the gates." Behind us, far off, I heard the distant noise of the dead, a low, hungry murmur, like the world clearing its throat. Inside, I leaned against an RV window and watched the prairie disappear beneath us, while Jen went and got me some medicine. We were moving and alive, but somehow I knew this wasn't the same thing as being safe.